Welcome back to Tiffin University Dragon Radio Live, coming to you live from the Pioneer Mill Restaurant here in Tiffin, Ohio on Coast Country with 100.9 WMJK. So far we talked to men's and women's track and field, women's golf, and women's lacrosse. And before we get to our next sport, we have to say a very special happy birthday to Athletic Director Lonnie Allen's mother, Brenda Lapierre, who's turning 70 years old today. Happy birthday, Brenda! Congratulations. Cool stuff. Thanks, Lonnie, for letting us know about that. Okay, up next, welcome back to Tiffin University Dragon Radio Live, coming to you live from the Pioneer Mill Restaurant here in Tiffin, Ohio on Coast Country with 100.9 WMJK. So far we talked to men's and women's track and field, women's golf, and women's lacrosse. And before we get to our next sport, we have to say a very special happy birthday to Athletic Director Lonnie Allen's mother, Brenda Lapierre, who's turning 70 years old today. Happy birthday, Brenda! Congratulations. Cool stuff. Thanks, Lonnie, for letting us know about that. Okay, up next, men's and women's tennis. We're going to get started here right now. So go ahead and get ready for the men's and women's tennis programs. We finished off golf and lacrosse next. We have Phil Conley here with the men's program. Coach Conley, how you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
I was looking for my roster. I flipped past it twice. So you have a few of your student athletes with you here. Like we were talking before during the commercial, you as well have had a chance to do quite a few of these, and you say you kind of enjoy it.
Oh, I love doing this. This is a highlight of the week here.
Awesome. Well, why don't you introduce some of your student athletes for us, sir?
Okay.
All right. I'm Brian Kaufman. I'm a senior, accounting major, and I'm from Akron, Ohio, the former home of LeBron James.
I'm Luis Carvalho. I'm from Campo Grande, Brazil. I'm international business marketing major, and I'm a senior here.
My name is Craig Martin. I'm from Chardon, Ohio. I'm a junior at Tiffin University, and I'm an international business major.
Well, we were talking to your young man there from Brazil during the commercial break about how much he's enjoying this Ohio weather when he could be down in Brazil running around the beach instead. So you're happy to be here. We're happy to have you. Thanks for being here.
Really
Coach,
happy.
Coach, talk a little bit about these young men on your roster here, and tell us a little bit about what they do for your team.
Well, the guys I brought here with me today are my leadership group, I like to call. Luis, Craig, and Brian. They've been with the program 4 years. And that's what I'm really excited about this season is we have depth and we have a lot of leadership on the program. And along with them, I have some really good recruits that I brought in. And season outlook looks really good this year.
Well, we talked in the past, and I'm sure the Heminger Center is playing big dividends for you as well because of what you guys used to have to do when the weather would become a factor. How nice is that knowing when you're having your home matches outdoors where if weather becomes an issue, you can just go right down the road instead of having to pile in and move elsewhere?
Night and day. It's night and day. I mean, we used to travel an hour back, 2-hour practice, and we usually hold one of the higher GPAs here on the program, and I think now my students are going to be able to do two things. They're going to be able to study more, and they're going to actually be able to practice more, so we're looking forward to that.
Well, let's look at your upcoming schedule. You get back at it here in the month of February. You got a lot of road trips coming up for your kids. Talk a little bit about this spring and what you guys got to do to be successful.
Well, I think we're going to be very successful this season. We just got out a really, really tough match against the University of Northwestern Ohio, who's right now preseason.
Yeah, they're a top 25 team, right?
Yeah, they're number 19 right now, and we fought them to the very end. We lost 5-4, but I mean that could have went either way. We have 2 new freshmen on the program, 1 freshman who plays number 1 singles for us, and he actually had a win over the number 3 player in the nation in NAIA. So we have really, really good depth this year, and we finally were able to move Luis down to number 2, where I think he's going to feel a little bit more comfortable.
Well, we're also going to talk about the women's team as well while we have you up here. So why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your roster on the women's side, and we'll talk about their strengths as well.
Sure. We're heavy up top with the women this year, and we have some good depth too. We have a freshman that she only lost 2 conference matches this year, 1 to Grand Valley and 1 to Ferris. And the one loss that she had to Ferris was in 3 sets, and Ferris finished top 4, and she had match point on her racket there to beat the 4th team in the conference. So we were right there. And then my top 2, Malika, who's going to be coming back for another year. I think she's sitting at number 10 or 11 in the Midwest right now, and she was the number 2 player in the conference last year. So we have a lot of good players returning, and we were working out a lot this year. Conditioning and trying to get in shape for the spring.
Well, you mentioned depth. I'm sure in tennis, depth is it's important across the board in any sport. But when you're hitting balls across the net to another person, and having somebody who is a high quality person returning the balls back to you, as far as your depth's concerned, it's got to pay dividends when you get into playing against other kids from other schools.
Oh, definitely. I mean, doubles, that's really where we're focused at. And like when the men's squad and the women's squad, I have a lot more options in doubles. And when we played University of Northwestern Ohio on the men's side, we went down 2-1. I mean, we had some doubles points there that we could have won. We're playing a tough team, and this is something that when we're going into the conference, I know that we can do. Get 2 points in doubles, and I think it's going to give us a real good chance to win.
Well, Coach Conley, thank you so much for bringing your student athletes up here. Best of luck to you in the spring with both the men's and the women's tennis programs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our student athletes of the men's tennis program at Tiffin University. Up next, we're going to be talking about the equestrian program and Coach Julie Vogel. Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Very good. How about yourself?
I'm not doing too bad. I wasn't sure if I was going to get a chance to see you today, so thanks for coming out and being on the program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it being on the program.
Well, you always like it, and you always warn me and say you're going to talk too much when you're on here. But I don't mind. The more you're talking, the less I have to talk. So who do you have with you today?
I have assistant coach Allie Dittman along with us today.
Hello.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up working on Coach Vogel's staff?
Well, I was the first year for the Tiffin University Equestrian team, and I graduated 2 years ago, and I liked it so much that I stayed.
And we won't let her leave.
So
well, when you got somebody good, you don't want them to go, right?
Absolutely.
Well, talk a little bit about your student athletes this year as you get ready. You guys have plenty to do here in February. You guys have been pretty successful here this past year.
We have been. We're one of the sports on campus that does compete in the fall and the spring. So I find it very difficult on our athletes, academically, time-wise, their bodies. It gets really tough. So we have a great group of dedicated riders this year. We're really pleased. We can get a lot done. We're very competitive. We're against a nationally ranked team every time we go to the show, and we beat them a couple weeks ago, and we were there just this past weekend. We came on the heels of them. We were reserve, and then we tied for reserve the second competition. So they're raising their eyebrows at us at Findlay University. They're the national champions, so if we know we can come in on the heels of them and be competitive to them, we know we're doing something right.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was kind of hard to contain my enthusiasm sometimes. I always tell my team,
well, that's great.
Be good winners and good losers. I just send them to the bleachers at one point.
But then when you get back.
Right. It was party on, because I was really pleased with them, and we had a great a sense of teamwork at that show, and I had really worked knowing we were coming off the fall going into the spring. We needed to keep our momentum going, the support for each other, and they just did an outstanding job, and it really showed through in our success in that day.
So. Yeah, that's fantastic. Explain a little bit to everybody briefly the different disciplines that are involved with the equestrian program.
Right. We have a Western division as well as a hunt seat division. The Western is kind of the cowboys, rope and cattle for the people that aren't familiar with horses. And then the other one is more of the hunt seat discipline, and that's jumping fences and more of the faster going horses. Most of our riders do both disciplines, and we are kind of an oddity in that Findlay University has one discipline they work really hard at, and then the two teams do not get along. They don't even visit each other's facility. It's kind of a big line in the sand. You don't cross it. But I feel that I don't really care what you're riding. I want you to be the best horseman or woman that you can be, whatever discipline.
Well, you speak about it, don't care what you're riding. I found that interesting when you told me before, like when you travel to go to an event, it's not your horses that you're taking. You get the horse that you find out who your horse is when you get to the event.
Exactly. And
that's a great offer of many challenges, though.
It does. And as a coach, it's a little mind-wracking at times.
Sure.
Safety is my number one concern. I have to make sure my athletes are prepared and going to be capable and be competitive as well. When we go to the other facilities, like Findlay University, they have 200 horses in their barn. They have a really big home court advantage. They're riding those horses days before we get there. My students have to come in, get their observation skills going, make sure they know what those horses are going to perform on, and then they get on and have to do the best job that they can. So again, to toot the horn, we did really well to go for a home court advantage.
Yes. That absolutely amazes me. I guess it all goes back to making sure that these student athletes, their horse skills are in tune and being able to go into these events with confidence.
Absolutely, and safety. That you can get killed doing this. I never play that down. This is a very high-risk sport, and you can get really injured doing this, so their safety is number one capability. And sometimes it hurts their feelings, and sometimes it makes them mad, but I don't really care. As a coach, it's my responsibility, and I take it very seriously when I send them in the ring on 1,000 pounds, and I need to know that they're going to be able to stay control of the situation.
Well, when you look at your schedule, I mean, you spoke of Findlay. You see see University of Findlay over and over and over again here on your schedule. And talk a little bit about how the schedule works, and as far as for your kids are concerned, and I guess going towards what would be a national meet.
Right. Right. Currently, we have 7 riders qualified for regionals. You have to be top 2 at regionals to go on to semifinals or zones. You have to be top 4 to go to nationals. And I think the most exciting part right now is the standings are we're ranked 2nd in our Western discipline, with the possibility of maybe going on to regionals. And if we can stay on Findlay, we can go possibly to nationals. So we've got some really good momentum moving forward this year with our Western program. And the hunt team as well is good.
Well, the equestrian program hasn't been around for a whole lot of time here.
No, this
you guys
is
are also some great success.
This is our 7th year of starting, and I think the big exciting thing we had this fall brought to our attention was we were invited to a West Virginia Invitational, and that was the top dogs were there. There was 18 teams there, and I'll let Allie talk about it because she did take the team and did a great job. So I'll let her talk about it.
Yeah, we ended up having 2 competitions that weekend. It was the West Virginia Invitational for the Western team, and then Julie and the other assistant coach, Claire, took the team to Lake Erie College for a hunt seat competition. So we went down to West Virginia first time with all the top teams all over the U.S. We competed with OSU, we had Texas A&M, we had University of Kentucky, and we ended up placing 7th out of 18 teams, and we had the reserve high point rider of the whole entire competition. So it was a big thing for us. It was really exciting.
Well, continued success to you guys, and thank you both for coming out here and joining us for Tiffin University Dragon Radio Live tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the equestrian squad at Tiffin University. All right, we got to get another commercial break in, and we'll come back and we'll talk baseball, we'll talk softball, all that and more coming your way next. It's Tiffin University Dragon Radio Live on Coast Country 100.9 WMJK and the BAS Sports Radio Network.